So in the act, the county has the right to is tasked to approve 4 of the positions on the SMAC. 2 of them are up, and we have nominations in our packet. One is for the is a private landowner, a gentleman by the name of Michael Fox. And the other is under commercial recreation and recreation permit holder. And that actually being myself, Pete Reynolds, that from my tie with the Steens Mountain Running Camp for many years. So it would be my 2nd term and be Mr. Fox's 1st term. And we have to send a letter along to BLM approving these positions. Any discussion?
This is Patty. I just wondered, has it been active? What are some of the main issues going on right now with that body?
It hasn't been very active because they have been waiting for the nomination process to go through DC. There hasn't been a full quorum in over 2 years to hold any meetings. There have been meetings held like work sessions, but no real meat of the agenda items. There's road discussion, road access to private, one person's private in holdings that he would prefer a different route in, but it's through wilderness. That's been one of the topics that's been hanging out there now for over 2 to 3 years. That's probably the biggest one. There's been issues of fence building, who's responsible, whether it be the BLM or the landholder. The way the act reads, some interpret it one way, others interpret it another. Been one of the issues. It's been worked out, but everything's just hanging. There's no, without full forms, there's nothing that can happen. So besides our 2, Commissioner Shellman was forwarded some that went through AOC, which we're not quite sure why, but there's 4 other applications that are also going through the process. So this will be 6. There are 3 still current. So this will be the closest the SMAC would have to a full body in years. Once all this gets through.
And I could mention who those others are. Let me pull it up here.
Come on. You went the long way.
I did. It's not my. So it shows the current list there. That was not what
I find that email.
There it is. They're individually.
Yeah.
I'll have to open my PDF. So the others being proposed under the category of fish and recreational fishing is a gentleman from Gladstone, Terry A. Turner.
That would be his 2nd term.
Okay.
A 3-year term, by the way.
In the interest of local environmental representative from Burns, Teresa O. Wicks. Would that be her 1st term?
Yes.
Under the category of interest of statewide environmental representative from Chiloquin, Karen D. Withrow. Is that familiar?
Nope, first time.
And then as category and interest state liaison from Hines, Rod Cluse, which he is. currently
And he's
been on it.
currently on board.
So those are the 4 additional ones that we received that will be discussed at the Natural Resource Advisory Committee at AOC. And they would like Harney County to acknowledge whether we are in support of those 4 also.
But it's different than these two.
Yes,
or
this is a separate, this is within our preview, this is, but still wanting acknowledgement.
So I have a question, is the lack of quorum because of lack of appointments being in place or any other reason?
Lack of, yes,
Quorum over the last couple of years.
it's lack of action at the DC level. Between going from one administration to the other, and neither administration has been real active in getting this done. But this is
Thank you.
farther than we've been in a long time.
Okay.
Okay. Entertain a motion. On the letter, I did put an asterisk by my name and a note below saying I declare a conflict on my appointment, so. It's up to you two for me.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to recommend Michael Fox and Pete Reynolds to serve on the Steens Mountain Advisory Council. You're muted, Patty.
And acknowledge those others or just,
No, they're not part of our,
We can do
Okay.
that after this,
Yeah.
and just conversation to raise AOC.
I second the motion.
been moved and seconded to approve Michael Fox and Pete Reynolds to the Steens Mountain Advisory Council. Fox is a private landowner, Reynolds as commercial recreation permit holder rep. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
And again, I declare conflict on my. That was a weird signature. Chad, you want to try to squeeze yours in
Yeah, I'll
4
squeeze
minutes?
in.
Okay.
Just doing my yearly custodial maintenance update. Obviously, I just polished the floor over the weekend. It looks pretty nice.
It's very nice.
We're also getting the front entry and back exit for the assessors redone. New concrete and full demo. So they're almost done back here, so we'll be starting out front. in a Couple weeks.
Will that door be inaccessible?
Mhm.
So, okay.
So once I start, they'll obviously get it done as fast as they can, but
So we'll need
everybody
some
will have to use the back door.
signage to direct people.
Back door, that stuff.
Okay.
And we're getting a quote to replace all the old carpeting. And cover the old tiles. Basically from the circuit court, county court basement. About 15 rooms, I think. So, big quote. But it needs done. Update the courthouse into the 20th century. And lots of little things, so because the part-time custodians taking care of 5 buildings.
Any other buildings have any major needs? I know-
Nothing major. The
I know.
library needs a new window. I've got shop, television.
The planning department needs a new roof.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That is one thing we did discuss in budget is the planning bar needs some sliding windows too. That there's
Yes,
no air.
windows and roof.
So if you.
Yes.
So you're, I mean, yeah, get some bids for that too. And we do have that roof, a different fund set up to cover that roof, so we want to move on that this summer if we can. So, okay, thank you. Anything else? So I noticed back here, fence posts.
Yeah.
Around our electrical box and our internet access that comes out of
Yes,
the
we're
building.
having the concrete guys put in a fence also to protect the main drops for our,
So when we had a visit from Homelands, for people in the audience, we had a visit from Homeland Security that comes around and look at weaknesses in your building or where you could be attacked, or where our internet comes in, it's wide open. Someone could actually just go there and we would be down, we would be lost. So where there was a ramp that came up, that ramp's now going to be gone. There's just steps into the assessor's door. And then this fence over where that ramp was, and that covered that. Keep our electrical and our internet and everything.
and I believe it's fiber optic, so if someone were to cut it with like garden shears, we'd be out for a decent amount of time.
Which all our voting and everything goes, let's say, through there. So it'd be, so it's, those guys come around and point out things that I wouldn't thought of, but that's their job. And so we took care of it at the same time, and it's one feather in our hat for them. Okay, anything else?
That's it from me.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the work you've done. The floor looks great. Brandon, that brings us to 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. We will open the hearing for Crystal Crane proposal. Yeah.
And if
Map,
there's any
see.
way, if there's any way that the, yeah, I can see some of the presentation, I'd appreciate that.
Commissioner, I just sent you a text with a picture of the site plan too, if you want to look at that for reference as well.
Thank you.
There is a chair back here if she'd like to. We could move the chairs over to here though.
It's all right. I just mentioned it in case it was,
Gives you a little bit of the board they brought in.
yeah, I can see some. Thank you.
So I'll talk about how we got here a little bit as far as process is concerned. And then quickly hand the, if you'd like, quickly hand the baton over to the applicants and their representation. The proposal before the court is an exception to the EFU zone and application of what's considered a zoning overlay or a limited use overlay zone, which is a feature of our zoning ordinance that provides a way to allow for a specific set of uses for specific rezone cases. And so that is the proposal before the court. You'd have this overlay over the underlying EFU zone. Again, I'll leave the details, I suppose, to the applicants. But as far as process goes, it requires at least two hearings and notice for such hearings. And the first hearing being before the Planning Commission on March 23rd was a public hearing where they accepted testimony and considered all the evidence and information in the record, had some back and forth discourse on it, and provided technical review of the information that you see in that staff report created for them. And from that proposal, they approved the motion to suggest approval of the rezone to the county court. There are two things that are noted in the cover page for that staff report that I produced for the county court. And for the record, one of them is talking about the date of which, for some clarification purposes, the date of which the resort activity in one shape or another started sometime in the mid to late 80s. But it was, the resource seems to have been there, or at least acknowledged there from sometime in the late 20s, potentially. I think 1929 was a date that was kind of thrown out there. The other one, and this is a technical element, you'll see in attached to the staff report cover page is an adjustment that was discussed on the record at that hearing to the proposal boundaries for the new zone. The original proposal did not have the existing resort facilities included in it. That accounts for just over 12 acres. It was highly suggested for the continuity of the project that the existing facilities be included. The applicants agreed to that. And so that's been added to the overall acreage. You can see the amount, I want to say it's just over 130 acres total in the information for that cover page. So on that map, the areas that are outlined in red would be the new zoning designation mapping boundaries. Let me know if you have any questions, but I'll throw the baton over.
So well, we appreciate the opportunity to be here with the court today. I just want to say that this is the first exception proposal that has been proposed to the county since your planning director's been here. So and I just want to say that the exception process was set up for exactly this kind of project, because we're not going to move that hot springs. You know, we're not going to move that natural resource. So, you know, what we're trying to do is accommodate both the county and the applicants to continue to develop that resource as an employment center for Harney County citizens, which it is right now, with over 20 employees employed there at this time. With this build out that you're seeing, and I'll let Don and Dan sort of walk you through any questions you have on that. Well, what we're bringing to you is a full-blown build out proposal for Crystal Crane Hot Springs. This is about a 20-year build out. It's going to be basically driven by market conditions. And so up until this point, the Krigers have had to come in for every single permit as a conditional use permit. And so this, by adopting this exception, it shares with the county and the planning commission what we'd like to do over the next 20 years. And so it allows us to move in that direction with the county's approval without going through a conditional use permit for every specific approval. This will allow the Krigers to be responsive to the marketplace. It will allow them to capitalize also on the EOA acreage that the county court designated in the last go around of the 50 acres, so that general commercial, while it's not being shown on this right now, will support the overall economic development activity on the site. So what we've done is we've looked at the 395 total acres. We've identified where the development should be. I'd also note that isn't shown on this map is that the Krigers have built a septic treatment system permitted by DEQ on that property that is larger than most small municipalities to accommodate the health and safety of that property and the surrounding properties. I'd also note that the planning commission, and I think this is important, approved this unanimously. So there was no dissensions. There was no opposition to this proposal by the citizenry, either in writing or in presence in the hearing. So we feel like that this is an approach that is a collaborative approach between the county and the applicants to do the best things for Harney County, for employment, for the economic development opportunities that are on this site. And you know, it will be a gradual build out, so it's not going to just happen overnight. And we feel like that this proposal being driven by the marketplace will indicate a time when maybe we need to do some additional studies or those kind of things. But right now, this is going to be, with your approval of this is going to allow the Krigers to continue to systematically develop this in this format. So if you have questions about what you're seeing there, I'll certainly let Dan and Don answer your questions. They're the designers of the master plan. We're just the conveyors of the request. I'd also note that we haven't gotten any feedback from DLCD staff that would indicate this is a negative response from the state. So we prepared the exception documents to address all the relevant points on the land use code that you have, and we feel like we've adequately addressed that. Otherwise, we would hear from state staff. So I'm just saying that to the county court because I want you to know that we're not putting you out on a limb here.
Which we appreciate.
Yeah.
And you said that this hearing is the first part, and then after this, we'd have to still by ordinance make actual changes to our.
The proposal requires a mapping amendment to the comprehensive plan. And so the mechanism for that is in the adoption of an ordinance. So that'll happen. If the proposal was approved today, the land use element is done, and then we would draft a draft ordinance for you to consider.
We would ask that the court consider taking that step because it's required by state law that two evidentiary hearings by the county court are required. So the second hearing hopefully would perfect this, and with the ordinance that would allow us to allow the criers to move forward, assuming that we don't get any 12th hour, sabotage from state government, which I don't believe we will. I didn't say sabotage.
That is on record. Did you get that, Susan?
I will.
So if you have some questions about what you're seeing there.
I wouldn't mind a little walkthrough. If you're-
My name is Dan Krager. I'm the owner of Crane Hot Springs. So this is Highway 78 that's running across the bottom here. This is our existing facility as it's built out right now. The swimming pond happens to be right here. So what we're proposing is these are RV sites here, all pull through RV sites with hookups. This one over here is for tent camping only. So if you're tent camping, you don't have to look at an RV right next to you or listen to their generator. They'll be full service sewer, water, and power.
The bottom one also,
Yes, this one also.
2 RV and 1 tent.
Right, so there's 2 RVs and then 1 tent camping. We currently have some glamping units over here. This is a proposed water building we process all of our drinking water. It goes through an RO system. It's all mineral water, so we have to cool it. And then we run it through an RO system for potable water. These are some RV sites. This section right here is already approved by the county. And so we're adding these here also. And these monopoly pieces that you see are cabins. So there's approximately 200 cabins and I believe 150 RV sites. They'll have driveways. This actually down here would be the EOA area that the state has approved. We're going to need more swimming or soaking areas as we grow. And so we've got some of those proposed. This here is a multi-purpose building that might have a soaking pool in it and then also games, and we all know about the wind in Harney County. So we're trying to provide some areas to get out of the weather when it's not conducive to being outside. These little red buildings are shelters that may be enclosed with sliding doors so that you can still feel like you're outside when the weather's good, but you can close them up when the wind and the rain is happening.
Would you address the septic system that you put in?
Okay. So we're putting in a lift station here. And it's actually up in this area. We have 2 1-acre ponds that are for the sewer system. We put them way away from any development, and those will be fenced off also.
So what would be the phases? Kind of,
Um,
what do you, I don't know, everything's subject to change, but what are you kind of thinking?
What we're kind of thinking is we're probably gonna start in this area here, and probably go up into this area, finish more RV sites. It's kind of whatever is dictating the most use. That's where we're gonna try to put our efforts. And then eventually we'll probably have a driveway coming in here, and we'll build one of these. And as that starts filling up, then we'll move on.
It's Quincy on that side.
Yes, this is Quincy Road right here. So we've got a setback so that we don't have all the dust from the traffic going by. Any questions?
Looks great.
We put a lot of effort into trying to make a presentation that would make sense.
You think you have to enlarge the pond, or is that even something that's doable? You know, just have
The
other
current
options.
swimming pond, I don't think so. I think what we'll do is build more areas. So kind of spread the people out a little bit more. A lot of times, the people that are trying to relax don't really appreciate the kids throwing the football back and forth, screaming, yelling, everything that comes with kids.
Yeah. And the cabins are, you know, I saw that in the write-up that there's different varieties.
Yes,
So
exactly.
It'll be assorted
Yeah,
throughout. Is
it's
that why
not
they're-
it's not a cookie cutter style development. It's gonna have different styles of cabins. This area here is walk-in camping, and this area up here is gonna be some sort of glamping. A new term that they're using for fancy camping. So maybe Conestoga wagons, maybe more teepees, probably a mix of different things, different experiences.
But the one thing I'd add is that out of the 395 acres, we're talking about 130 of it being developed. The balance of it is going to be retained as open space, walking space, bike paths, those kind of things, so that the customers at Crystal Crane have some alternatives on site for just some non-consumptive uses of the balance of the property. And so they, you know, the Kragers have basically committed over half of their property for that, you know, basically preservation in the current state with some additional trails and those kinds of things. And then I'd also mention that Wildlife Pond is a secondary water source for firefighting and at Crane, and also for BLM if they need to come in and pull water during fire season. So, and there's a access road that will be limited only to fire vehicle. Am I right on that?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
Off of Quincy. So the fire access would come off of.
That
Quincy.
fire access would come along this side and then hit Quincy. Quincy is a private road, and I don't know if it's going to go to the county at some point. It's been highly improved in the last year or two, and I don't know what we're going to have to do to actually get the access onto Quincy Road for fire only. None of our customers will use that road.
So right now, I'd also say there's 20 plus employees right now for 12 acres of the property being currently developed. So you can see the potential, just anecdotally, of what this additional development will mean as an employment opportunity for folks in Harney County to work there. There's also opportunities to work with the drivers and bring in their own businesses in that general commercial that would support the visitor stuff. So this has got a real potential to be a real good employer for expanding employer for Harney County in the hospitality industry.
Dan, do you have caretakers quarters or residences as a part of the proposal?
Yes, we do. And we've actually got those in different colors. the different points to help maintain goodwill between all the guests.
Part-time / full-time staff.
Yes, exactly. I think we currently have 6 camp hosts. It takes a lot of people to actually manage this many people. I think we're actually up to almost 30 people right now.
Right now, it's just Dawn and Adam.
I don't do that.
What are the current, number of folks that you see on average coming there
Today,
today?
gosh, the average is probably between 60 and 100. And we top out about 160. Is a busy day.
I think
Go ahead. Yeah.
At full build out, I think we're expecting around 1,300 people.
So one of the
second biggest city in the county.
part of the testimony that we heard before the planning commission, we have business people here that were testifying that they are getting business in Burns from Crystal Crane Hot Springs. And so the food service and things that here in Burns are benefiting from the economic activity at Crane. And so that activity would continue to expand, obviously, as you guys well know, that more people, more demand for local services, and the more of that money stays in the county. And that's the whole game here, is to keep those dollars circulating in the county.
I spoke at the planning commission. I've been going to Arizona for about 12 years in the wintertime. The campgrounds have gotten so full down there that unless you were there the year before, you can't even get in the next year. The demand for campgrounds is horrendous. My family camps over in Central Oregon. We've been going to the same place for probably 40 years. Today, now you have to get online in January when they open up reservations, and you have about a 6-hour window before that campground fills for the year. They have a real demand for this. I'm just a neighbor. I'm financially not involved at all. I wore my hat. I brought it. I take my wife for chemo every week in Bend. And when first time I went in there, I wore this. The doctor in there said, "Oh, I go to that place. I love it there." 3 of the nurses piped up and said, "Yeah, we go there too." And the 4th one says, "Yeah, I want to go. I haven't been there." There's a real demand for this. I think this is an awesome opportunity for Harney County. And like I said, I live up on the hill on Crane Buchanan Road, about 2 miles from it. I can see it out my picture window. A lot of activity, there's a demand for what they're doing. I think this is a lost opportunity if it is improved.
We turn people away all the time. So because we don't have enough accommodations. So there's probably at least 4 days a week when we are turning people away.
So being here, is other folks that comments or?
You're a neighbor, correct?
I'm a neighbor, so I've just, and I've heard lots of things of, they're going to use, they're going there. I just want to look at pictures and all and everything. I'm glad they weren't accessing on Quincy because that poor road is needed up just like neighbors and all the farmers. I hate to see a whole bunch of buildings going down our road, but I also know they have found a little tiny space to put on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you feel your concern about Quincy being accessed is addressed in this?
We don't have anybody that maintains it, well, I shouldn't say that, there's a big ranch down there, but they do a lot of it. And then I think there's a little bit of tiny little thing here. But it just gets beat up a lot, it is just a lot of traffic, more traffic gets on it. Today. All the car pass. If the county owns it or something. Maintain what was there.
That was a county right of way or road at one time. And
It was?
And and then it was vacated at one time or another. I don't know the date, but at one time it was actually. a county road. Went through the procedure of being vacated, and that's where it stands.
Send the road master to the record.
Just wondering what the history.
I have a little history on my desk that's been brought into me from another individual who lives on Quincy that has been told by one individual it's public, told by others it's private. So I think it's private is definitely the
Yeah, and again,
correct.
And if it's private, whose is it?
Well, again, I was gonna stay on that conversation, but I believe that it's actually, it's a local access road I guess is what you would clarify it as. So, residents or neighbors or anybody that actually lives on that road does have the right to go down it to get to their property. It's just not maintained by the county anymore. And again, I don't know the dates when that was actually vacated, but it has gone through the procedure to be vacated at some point. And I would imagine, I'm just guessing here, McEwen had JMK way back when, and I'm sure that he probably asked the county court to have that vacated just because of somebody being able to drive down through there in the middle of his pivots or whatever, but that's just an assumption. I do not know that. Sure.
It's a topic for another county court.
Yep.
meeting. So, I think it's a great
So can I?
addition to
Yes. So I guess what we were hopeful that the county court would be approving this exception request today and directing the planning director to bring the ordinance that the next evidentiary hearing to perfect this. So that would be the hopeful motion that we would want to hear about in the court if possible.
That's the answer you want before you head back home.
Well, I'm just personally, I'm pleased to finally, I've done a lot of planning work for the county. This is real work. This is the real thing. This is not a bunch of theoretical, making people live in boxes. This is to allow us to do what really is in the best interest of the county, both from employment standpoint, economic activity. And just in terms of the working relationship, the exception is the perfect vehicle for this stuff to happen so that we can all move forward on a common page, which is in front of you.
You said there are how many of the cabins? 20,
There's
200?
about 200
About 200.
cabins. We currently have 21 rental units.
Let's say something real quick. You mentioned like not wanting to see, all these buildings. Well, I'm a contractor out there for Dan, full-time subcontractor, just for that. Everything's always built to the most eye-appealing. We can make it. Usually Dan wants to go above and beyond, make everything look great. So I mean, you're not gonna be looking at little shacks, You drive that, everything looks very nice.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Yeah,
if we-
I fully support them.
Maybe Commissioner Dora, looks like she keeps trying to.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
No, I just wanted to say, I read all of the materials that we received ahead of time and really pleased, this is kind of a win on economic development, on land use, on planning process. And I'm hoping the value of the property and the property taxes will benefit the county as well in the years to come. But thank you for all your hard work on this and to hear that the people that live in that general area are not opposed, but are good with it. Very pleased to support this today.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the plan amendment and rezone of file number 20-04.
I
I'll second.
second.
Been moved and seconded to approve land use file number 2004. Crystal Crane Hot Springs proposal. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
We're good to
Thank you
go.
very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Very, very neat.
All right, thank you.
Now it's time to haul the storyboard.
My mom went out there and swam in it when there used to be the cement pool. back in
Now
the day.
that's been a while.
That's been a while.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yep, thank you all.
Thank you.
I'll follow up with drafts and.
Have you on the agenda next meeting?
We'll give it a go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
We down to F.
Everybody's got a roll. Taking stuff out. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yep, have a good day.
You too.
We're popular.
So,
Move the camera for Patty. Now we have an empty courtroom, Patty.
Thank you for letting me know.
okay, moving on to item F, move the border follow-up letter discussion. And Commissioner Shellman put together a letter for us to look at. I added one little piece in the middle, so.
And I proofread it, so we got it good.
Correct. I believe it. It's what the people have asked for in the meetings we've had. And I see no harm in us moving it forward to start the process. We know it's not something's gonna happen at the county level. It's gotta be at the state level. So if this helps move it along.
Judge, would you read it since it's a short letter?
Yep. So dated April 20th, 2022. Senator Finley and Representative Owens, the citizens of Harney County voted in the November 2021 election to hold meetings to discuss moving the Oregon border. The Harney County Court has since held 2 meetings as required by the ballot measure. Citizens of Harney County during those meetings have requested to have our state senator and district representative acknowledge the desire for the state of Oregon's border to be moved and investigate the possibility of Harney County and other Oregon counties to join with the state of Idaho. We desire help in better understanding the requirements of such a change in the state's border and how it would affect Harney County. Many concerns we have heard at the local level to be included in discussions include PERS, water rights, prison populations, road authority, county versus state, to name just a few. The Harney County Court realizes that citizens feel that their voices and interests at the state level are often disregarded. We appreciate the work you both do for Harney County and know that you advocate well for us. This interest in moving the border truly is a symptom of the frustrations of rural Oregon at the state level. Harney County Court. That tells the story.
So I move to approve the letter as written.
I second.
I see one typo.
Is it capital?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
With the correction of concern being lowercase.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded One typo correction we will have fixed. And any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And it-
So we'll.
Letter
get a fresh
carries.
Copy.
Yep,
Carried.
we will have it rating for you.
And we can make sure to send it to both Senator Finley and Representative Bowens, as well as the other parties that had requested the letter.
Right, so that was
um,
Mr. I had
Mr.
his
Michael
letters in my
Carter,
basket.
as well as Tony
Tony.
Foster, the local gal, and then also Melinda Davis. I know had directly asked. Was there anybody else that had directly asked for the letter, Patty, that you can recall?
Not that I can recall at this time, no.
Okay.
Mr. Foster. Tony Foster, Mr.
Carter.
I have his information in my basket, so I'll make sure. that's it. So those three, Senator and Rep. Right. Public water notice. Under some-
I have it online. Or Golden Rule Farm ones.
No strange. Strange ones.
And then also the Bowers have what transfer.
Off Highway 20. Probably.
Yeah, Sage Him.
Yeah,
area.
section, yeah. Correspondence from USDA Forest Service, timber sales in the Mount Airy National Forest. So it's like those first pages have been ordered.
Now, these are all bid proposals for areas that they've been discussing with us at the NRAC. And so it's nice to see it come out and we'll continue to get updates through the NRAC on this process.
Okay. Any correspondence, Patty? Or general liberation?
Just one, as I've been getting out in the community, I've had two different people ask me about rumors they're hearing that the county is going to be purchasing or has purchased property for a homeless shelter. So I said no, but I thought I'd bring it up just in case there's discussions on that. I let them know that there's the Veterans Village, and I let them know about the Lincoln property concept. But is there anything else that you think might be triggering some of the rumors?
I've heard nothing.
I was
Yeah,
surprised
I've
by,
never had anybody bring anything like that up. So
You know, that groundbreaking the other day, there was a comment on Facebook about sure, let the rich build a house for the poor. And it was immediately addressed by economic development that house is to be built and auctioned off. I mean, I don't think the individual read the article, but regardless, that's the only thing I have seen regarding housing.
well, thank you. I just thought we put on the record in our discussion here to help.
Nothing at the
Alleviate
senior, no talk
that.
at the senior center, so. No, you know, from that end, there's nothing. They're definitely focused on the Veterans Village. That's the big project. Nothing else.
Have they needed to get additional grants for that in addition to the loan that they now have or about to get?
Other than just trying to get the heating units to be able to use the biomass, they're, which you're aware of. That's the only thing I'm aware of. No,
Thank
nothing
you.
else, no.
Nope, that's all I have today. I mean, we have the Eastern Oregon Counties Association meeting that at least,
I have a 1 o'clock. So I have a 1 o'clock AOC budget finance meeting that day, and I wouldn't be back in time. I would be able to call in on the car.
not where we're trying.
So are you gonna be back for it, Patty?
yes, I'm planning to ride with Kristen or whoever.
So you tell me.
Well,
I'll
that's
remain
why I have the
behind.
Car fueled up for us.
I'll make sure you have fuel in the car. Okay. There's a meeting tomorrow night, and you know, I'm that stemmed from our meeting where you know, it's not really a court meeting, but it's more of that committee reporting to the court. I'm sorry if it got skewed, but I think it's gonna be really good for the public to hear why each department thinks could be beneficial. Again, nothing's moved on that. It's still up to us to make that decision before they submit that thing on May 15th. Nothing's changed there. There is gonna be a not Zoom, but team meeting link available for that, Patty, if you want to tune in. I know you're trying to vacation.
Well, tomorrow's the day we drive back, so I might be a little late, but I might be able to stop in or maybe even get there in time. I have a question though and you know, I'll hear more tomorrow night if I can. Is their proposal or presentation mainly going to be on the need for it, or will they also have some recommendations on the path forward financially to make it happen, or is that just going to be all on us?
No, it's how it could benefit their departments or offices. They all understand that it would be a phase-in thing, that it's not going to happen overnight. There's not money to go just totally remodel the building tomorrow. That it would have to be, that has to be part of the consideration. I don't think they'll have any proposals for money, no.
Because
That they
one
fully
thing-
understand.
yeah, and since the first thing after we hear the presentation and hear community feedback, et cetera, would be whether or not to try to acquire the property. If you have information already, or if we can get information, not for the meeting tomorrow night, but between that meeting and when we need to discuss it further on should we acquire it? Should the building remain largely empty for a long period of time due to lack of the ability to move forward? We wouldn't want it to deteriorate in any great way, and we would, what the minimum costs of heating it in the winter minimally, et cetera, those types of things, the cost to carry it, insurance and all that would be helpful to us just to know some of that soon. And maybe school district would have some of that information.
Yep, I agree, and I do have a call into Dominic. He was tied up this morning and it's gonna be tied up all day, but I said after 4, because I have a 2 o'clock thing. I don't know how long does it take. But just to ask him too, how do we make we decide in executive session on cost. Do we come out and say, this is what we're gonna bid on? Because then you're tipping your hat to somebody else, because we'd have to do that May 4th. If somebody out there is out there wanting to also bid, then they're gonna get your number. So how do we do that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say it would be helpful.
And then the cost of the building.
Because
Totally agree. That's
yeah,
my concern.
because it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years before the financing would be in place to move forward much. And how much will that add to our budget obligations? That's helpful.
I think you might hear tomorrow that some might think they are actually could utilize some of the space right away as is. I don't know for sure, kind of what I've picked up. And that would help with kind of what you're asking too, would insurance.
Right. I'm gonna try to make it back because I really look forward to hearing so much. I mean, it's a great concept. Just need to hear a lot more and make sure people don't assume, anything incorrectly about it.
And like I said, it's a big decision for us. Okay.
So we will potentially be having an executive to discuss that after talk with Dominic.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Deliberation of the persons designated by the government to negotiate real property transactions. So it's totally, that's what I called that one under last time. Yeah, hopefully get some guidance from him.
How to conduct that.
Yep. Okay, then the last, well, not the last, I don't know if it's the last, but the official executive order from the governor.
10A, it was actually on there.
Was?
Yeah.
Oh, did she, well, she was gonna get on there. I didn't see it. Page. Anyway, determination of a state of drought emergency in Gillum, Harney, and Jackson counties. So from the governor, the executive order was signed the 7th day of April. Expires December 31st. So
Which our drought would expire.
yeah. So we'll make sure that's in the Commissioner's Journal and hope for whatever relief people can get. Or rain. Okay. Anything else? See Mr. Wilbur coming upstairs. We better hurry. Adjourn.
Public comments over it.
He's working it. Hold on. About to adjourn our board meeting unless you have some comments.
Beg your pardon?
About to adjourn our board meeting unless you have some comments
You can fill the room.
on the record.
This is it?
The rest of them left after their presentations.
You know why I'm here.
The one for water I said I could find.
You're supposed to show me that plan for the
Yeah.
fairgrounds.
I have not got that quite ready.
And you haven't dug it, you got to wait for it.
No, sir. But as
He's
soon as I
tenacious.
adjourn, I think I can get that for you.
After I left last night, I thought you're probably all pissed off at me because of throwing cold water on things.
You're not throwing, you think you're at a different stage than the rest of us. No, that's why we've been planning on holding the public meeting to help bring folks in the loop. And then we've got to get things ironed out. So when the money hits the door, we're ready to roll. So no, we're good.
I'm a real stickler on planning things, so you don't have big mistakes.
No, and that's why we need to engage in that process, but we're kind of waiting for you to get back to get it rolling.
When I left it, I thought, yeah. Threw cold water on the whole thing.
No, like the other board members already have things that they're kind of tasked with, and so this is kind of your baby to help along.
It's a good project manager.
He is,
I
and so
get- I know that.
he brings strengths to the table.
Well, I did my best.
But yeah, you're not stepping into it behind anything, in front of anything. We're just, this is where we're at, so we need to get some plans in place.
Hello.
Nothing to stress about,
Oh.
just part of the process.
I just thought about it for a couple hours after I got home.
Well, now that you're off vacation, you can, stop relaxing. Get back to work.
Reality.
So should I come back to get that thing? from you?
No, we're ready to.
We're ready to
adjourn.
adjourn. I'll go in there. I just have the one, but I have to,
That's all right.
well, I won't keep my one. But we'll get you something. Okay, so we will adjourn at 11:50. Thanks, Patty.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you. See you soon.
Patty, where's Patty? No?
New.
Newport vacation with her daughter.
No?